Well, Coach, I guess it's just been a boring kind of ho-hum off-season for the Jets, right? Anything going on?
Not really. I know expectations aren't real high for our team or anything else, but no, everybody knows we have an excellent football team. And then to go out, make some of the moves we made, we're able to acquire some guys with great reputations from other teams, blend them in with what we already have, and hopefully that's a combination we're looking for, and we can get to that Super Bowl game.
I'm going to ask you about that, but first, I know that you're confident this is a much better team than the one that ended last year. What's the main reason?
Well, I think it's from a talent standpoint, this is about as talented a team as I've been around. I've been on a lot of really good football teams. Obviously, in 2000, I was with the Super Bowl champs, with the Ravens, and things like that. And that's the really interesting thing, that we have the talent. Now we got to go out and execute it, but we certainly have the talent to match up with anybody in this league.
So much hype for your team this offseason. Even the hype has had hype, and I know you love that, but can it get to a point where it concerns you because it's too much, or no?
No, I mean, to me, it's you want to be talked about. You want to be a team that there is high expectations on, and that this is what we better get used to, because this is what's going to be. When you become a team, one of the elite teams in the league, which is what we're striving to be, then that's what happens. You get a lot more attention to you and things like that, so we need to get used to it, and that's just the way it is. You look at our schedule, we have 5 primetime games, and that's the max. So there is a lot of expectations throughout the country and all that kind of stuff, but for us to get where we want to get to, you got to be able to handle distractions and things.
Darrelle Revis in the news, of course, and since you called him the best corner in the NFL, there are some suggesting that that's raised his asking price. But weren't you just stating the obvious?
Well, it was obvious to me, and I think it's obvious to anybody that knows football, that Darrelle is the best corner in football without question. So, if that's the case, then, if I win as well, Darrelle's not a very good player. Whatever. That's just being ridiculous. I'm just stating the obvious. I'm going to always be myself. I'm not going to, this is who it is. This is who this player is, and he deserves to be mentioned that way.
Your quarterback, Mark Sanchez, forget about on-the-field pressure. Now he's dating Meadow from The Sopranos. Does he have to look over his shoulder and worry about Tony Soprano? Or?
You know what? I met Jamie, and she seems like a really a nice person and things like that. But you know what? He's, and like I mentioned before, that I have 2 sons, but this guy's close to, he's close to being my son. He's such a great young man. It's not just that he's an outstanding football player. He's the most dedicated player this off season. He's done more this off season than anybody we've had. He's a tremendous person on and off the field, and he carries the torch for the New York Jets, and I'm proud that he's our quarterback.
A healthy, much slimmer Chris Jenkins in minicamp. Are the two of you exchanging notes on weight loss, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm letting him get a little lead on me right now, but I'll catch him in the end. Let him, just that rabbit, he jumped out there quick. But obviously, we want Chris to get his weight down, and I'd love to see him, get down to where he wants to be. Chris is an unusual guy. I mean, he's just a big, powerful man. He's got over 300 pounds of lean muscle mass, so there's only so much he can lose, really. But he looks great out there, and hopefully he'll have a big season for us.
Is there a key in your mind to the chemistry you need to bring all these new faces together with the people who are here?
Yep, and I think we've already accomplished it. When you look at the off season, the conditioning from a conditioning standpoint, from your OTAs, from all that. So this is a football team that we're peaking. So we'll see what happens. The great thing is the chemistry issue is that the chemistry part of our football team is going to be the best thing we do. We have all this talent, but the way we are together, the way we come together as a team, that's going to be a strength, not a weakness.
You switched gears. As a guy who speaks his mind clearly in the press, when you see your sound bites on TV, Are there ever times when you say, ooh, I'd like to have that one back, or do you just live with it and no regrets?
I got no regrets. You know, I mean, I think if I would have changed anything that I learned from last year, I mean, there's, you know, nobody's perfect, and I'm certainly not perfect, but, you know, I probably wouldn't have had that thing with Channing Crowder, the player from the Dolphins, because it got blown up so much when clearly it was meant to be a fun thing. You know, I think it was reported a different way, and that's probably wasn't a great thing. And I feel, you know, really a little, you know, that probably could have changed. And obviously, I had an incident where I wish I had back. But I'm going to be myself, and until they tell me that I'm out of here or whatever, I'm always going to be myself.
And finally, speaking of that, speaking of being yourself, as you know, most coaches at this level run and hide from the S word, Super Bowl, especially at this time of year, months away from the season. You run toward it. So complete this sentence for me. The Jets will be in the Super Bowl this year if.
Well, there's a lot of, you know, factors, but, you know, clearly we have to stay healthy like any team does. I believe we're ready to take that step. Now, we have a heck of a schedule, and we have to focus. We can get there, but we have to focus every single game. We can't look past anybody. In this league, you can get beat by anybody each week. So it's just 1 week at a time, and stay the course, keep our focus, and by the end of the day, I think we'll get there.